Today we're going to be reviewing several origami cases my brother recommended for me because I like to mostly read in portrait mode. And he asked me to post a review of these after I got them. It's taken me a while. But the first one I got was this one that is no longer available in rose gold on Amazon, but I did see it on eBay in rose gold. That one is called the Origami Case for iPad Pro 11-inch. It fits 2021, 2020, and 2018 models. My model is the same as my brother's. We both have the iPad Pro 11-inch from 2021, the third generation of that size. This one features 5-in-1 multiple viewing angles, smooth silicone cover, soft TPU back, auto shut. Those are the details on this particular model. The next one I'll be reviewing and unboxing, which I haven't opened yet, is the Origami Case. Apparently it fits iPad Air 4th generation and the iPad Pro 11, 2021, 2020, and 2018. This particular one also supports the Apple Pen, which the one I bought says it does, but doesn't actually charge them. So let's go ahead and start. First, my brother's Moco case. He's already done a review on. It's nice, it's sturdy. I really like the feel of it. It's very stable when you open it, but it does only allow for standing in this position, which is not my preferred. The one that he suggested I get, I've been using every single day, and I really love it. It is a little bit, floppy because it's an origami case. There's trade-offs. But what this allows me to do is stand my iPad up like this, and I can read the things that I read this direction, or I can flip it this way, which I really like, that I could do either one. There are also ways that you can stand it up the traditional way, folding it. Doesn't seem to be as stable though. I don't normally view it this direction. So the feel of it, it's a little bit rubbery. This one feels a little bit more like a fake leather, plasticky, but this has a little bit more of a less slippery texture, which I find pleasant. The back is definitely more rubbery than this one. This one feels a little more protective. It's got some good plastic shell around here, and then it's exposed. This one has rubber the whole way around, which I think is why it doesn't charge the Apple Pencil when I stick it there. So you'll see on here, when I stick the Apple Pencil, it recognizes it and it charges it. Whereas on this origami case, I can stick it here and it will magnetically stick, but it doesn't recognize it or charge. That is the one drawback if you will be using an Apple Pencil. Because this is so rubbery, you can very simply pop it off, which I've done just to charge a pencil. And then you can stick your pencil there. Now it recognizes it, not the most convenient. In terms of taking the case on and off, it is quite soft and pops off really easily. You can see how flexible this is. It's got this interesting grid pattern, very rubbery. It just, altogether doesn't feel that stable. So now I'm going to move on to the new one I bought and I have yet to unbox. So you'll be getting my first impressions. I'll just leave these two here to compare. This next one on Amazon, and I will post the links to these for your information. This one is called Origami Case. It's got one of those generic names. So it comes in this Ziploc bag, and let's see. So it feels even more kind of, I don't even know how you describe that, but it's a similar feeling to this. It's got a little bit of softness and smoothness to it. I kind of like the feeling. It stays in your hand a little better, a little grippier. The next thing I'm noticing is that it's got this tab, which I guess some people might like. I tend to prefer my things as low profile as possible, so I don't have tabs on those two cases there, but there is one here. It feels thicker, it feels heavier, and it says that it supports the pencil. I see why. There's a space here for it. So it does make the case a little bit larger and bulkier. I have a little tip for you about these desiccant packs. I have a Ziploc bag where I store, I'm such a geek, every desiccant bag I've ever gotten, they live in this. I dropped a remote control in some liquid once, and instead of sticking it in a bag of rice, I stuck it in this bag of desiccants, and the next morning it worked. So I keep the desiccants. It also is better for the environment to reuse stuff like that. Okay, padding that came with it. I tend to save these because if I'm swapping out my iPad case, I have something to protect the other one. Interesting that it has a similar honeycomb pattern on the inside. I'm not sure if there's a functionality to that, but you can see this one has a honeycomb pattern. On the inside of this case, it feels a little like suede, and you can see there are fewer folds than the case I currently have. So this one has one fold down the middle that goes into a triangle, and then just one fold on the diagonal, whereas this has two folds on the vertical, and then two this way, and one going over here. So there are multiple different angles. I'm guessing that you can support your iPad on this one, but fewer folds seems to make this a little sturdier. This back is also quite stiff, as you can see. So let's pop the iPad in and see how it works and how it feels. As you could see, the other one that I put the iPad into, it just slipped in and out really easily. I'm actually kind of thinking I need to pop this in the other direction, because I see here are the volume control buttons that should correspond with this in order for it to work. So let's see what happens if I pop it in that direction. Well, it's still giving me a hard time. There we go. Now we'll try it this way. There we go. So I'm guessing that since this cover is supposed to line up with multiple editions of the iPad, they left a very large cutout. A little bit bigger than necessary for this model. So it fits now, it feels protected. Let's see what happens when I put the pencil in. It recognized it right away. That's great. Let's close it. It's a nice tight seal. It feels very secure and sturdy. My other case, as you saw, really flopped around when I was holding the iPad in it. This feels sturdier, kind of like this one. But now I've got quite a heavy, heavy device. I'm interested in weighing it. This one's cellular, so it already weighs more, but maybe I'll just compare the weight of this one to the weight of that one. Volume. Does volume work? Oh, look at that. It works perfectly. Now for the main test, how does the Origami Stand work? How about that? There we go. That's nice and stable. I would have no trouble reading it in that position. It's quite a bit upright compared to this case. Normally I just pop that open, and that's the angle I'm viewing. This is a little bit more upright. You see it from the side compared to this one, and now from the back. Both of them have a very thin line on which the case is balanced. The drawback to that, for me, is that I can't balance it on my lap when I'm reading it in this orientation. I used to have a rotating case, the kind that would 360 rotate. I found that the quickest and easiest. You didn't have to mess with the positioning of the back cover, but I have been unable to find one for the iPad Pro 11 that doesn't have an opening in the back that exposes the iPad itself. And I would like not to get that scratched up. They're also quite thick and heavy. I'm not a giant fan of thick and heavy. Let's see how else you can stand this. I'm getting basically two positions here. 1 and 2. So that makes it simple because then there's only one way to fold it. Oh, and there you go. So this one position that it seems to fold in, if you go this direction, now your iPad is upside down, but you are at a steeper angle. More similar to the way I've been watching videos on this one, or reading newspapers. I don't really watch in that direction. This is a nice sturdy option. Part of the extra weight is going to be having the Apple Pencil here. But if you wanted to have a case that holds the pencil and feels thick and sturdy and secure, unlike this where it does hold the pencil but it's not as protected, then I would say this is a pretty good option because it gives you a lot of variation. You can put it in many different directions. You can store your pencil if you have one, or not if you don't. It still works, all the controls work, and it's nice and secure. I like the feeling. In terms of slimline, protection, tightness of feel, this to me would definitely be the way to go because it's so low profile, it's so thin, it's so light, and I'm really enjoying it. So if only I had a rose gold version of this that I could stand this way. Maybe my next move is going to be to get something to just prop this on and order this one in rose gold. All right, guys, thank you. And as always, like, subscribe, and share this video if you got something out of it. Thank you very much. Take care, folks.